Chavez Jr. and the return of the problem child, El Gallo de Dorado, Jake Paul, live on DAZN pay-per-view.
Stay down. Yeah. Ready, AJ?
Face off. They got very, very tense very quickly.
Yeah, it was spicy. It was good because we've got to be focused for this fight. You know, sometimes you have a build-up like the Dillian White fight. Sometimes you can feel a little bit deflated. I didn't see a deflated Anthony Joshua. I probably saw a more pumped Anthony Joshua than I've ever seen. Never heard him speak like that in a face-to-face.
The face-off was intense and electric. Anthony Joshua's presence completely dominated the moment. Their eyes locked, his focus razor-sharp. Jake Paul tried to look confident, but the pressure was written all over him. The atmosphere screamed danger for Jake Paul. Joshua made it very clear he's ready to expose every weakness, issuing a brutal warning before the fight has even begun.
No. You rise to the occasion. Experience comes with age, and I've been hearing a lot about age, you know.
We are now, and I finally get to check that off my list, and I knew this was going to be a big fight. The build-up for this is huge. The press conferences are entertaining. It's a spectacle.
KSI's reaction says it all. Anthony Joshua is operating on a completely different level. He's not here to chase belts. He's here to dominate. Sure, the money might look like a win for Jake Paul, but if Joshua knocks him out cold, nobody will be surprised. Joshua exudes confidence, while Jake Paul already looks outmatched. KSI hints that this is Joshua's fight from start to finish. Total control, no mercy.
But also, it's also like the way I see it, I think AJ and his team, he's not fighting for titles again, like world titles again.
Yeah,
he's not at that stage.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it's a lose-lose for AJ?
No, because I reckon.
Besides, I mean, look, money-wise, it's a
Win.
dub.
Yeah,
but like,
if he flatlines Jake, dub.
Everyone's
That's
saying
it.
like, okay, we expected this. If he,
It's still good,
If
though.
it goes 12 rounds,
It's
AJ
that's bad.
is
Yeah, that's bad.
bad.
But
yeah.
surely you've got the confidence to know that, like, I'm gonna bum him.
Anthony Joshua proves why he's a true professional, staying composed even when unexpected challenges arise. He calls these the best days of his life and refuses to let anything disrupt his training. That level of focus and calm is what sets him apart from Jake Paul, who seems nervous and overwhelmed. Joshua stays sharp and disciplined every day, every round. And that discipline is exactly what will destroy anyone who dares to underestimate him.
Keep a professional head on. Things happen in life. So no complaining. These are the best days of my life. A little like blip in my day didn't change the whole like trajectory of how my training camp went. Stay focused. And as I said, like I'm just happy that I'm still getting.
Frank Martin breaks down the massive gap between real fighters like Anthony Joshua and someone like Jake Paul. Even if Jake Paul has improved, he hasn't lived his entire life in this sport. Joshua is a true heavyweight who has spent years mastering his craft and carries serious knockout power. Facing him is a huge challenge, and anyone watching can see Jake Paul is out of his depth before the first punch is even thrown.
I consider Jake now, you know, I wouldn't consider him like a YouTube fighter no more. You know, I feel like he put in the time, he gotten better throughout like all his fights, like he done got better throughout all those fights, you know. But it's still like when you fighting like fighters who actually like done it for like their life, their whole life, it's a little different. You know, if that fight happened, it'll be a good money fight. It'll be a good money fight. But that's a tough task for, you know what I'm saying, Jake going to get that big ass heavyweight, AJ. You know, I know AJ personally, you know, so that's a tough task, and that motherfucker could punch.
Anthony Joshua acknowledges that Jake Paul shows confidence by accepting the fight, but Joshua's skill, experience, and focus make that confidence meaningless. Physically, Jake Paul doesn't stand out, and mentally he's trying to rise to the moment. But Joshua sees right through it. It's another clear warning. Inside the ring, belief alone won't protect Jake Paul from the punishment Joshua is capable of delivering.
What's the one best thing that you pride Jake Paul of having that maybe you haven't seen in other competition you faced so far?
From a physical aspect, I couldn't even mention it at the minute. But from a mental aspect, he offered me the fight. Normally, I'm offering people fights. He's told me, come and fight. So he believes in himself.
Jake Paul might look serious and intense, but Anthony Joshua's size, experience, and power are on another level. Height won't save Jake Paul when he's standing across from a former heavyweight champion who controls distance, timing, and angles with perfection. Joshua dominates every room and every ring he steps into. Jake Paul will quickly learn that being tall means nothing against a fighter with Joshua's caliber and experience.
Looks intense, focused, locked in. He's obviously very, very tall. Looking up, my tallest opponent. My eyes are at his, chest level.
The intensity is unreal. Jake Paul is staring down Anthony Joshua, but it's obvious the pressure is already cracking him. Joshua's presence alone is hitting him harder than any punch. Watching them together, it's clear Jake Paul can't match the focus, strength, or control that Joshua brings. Everything about this moment is a warning. Jake Paul is stepping into something far beyond his level.
He's going to get battered. He's going to get absolutely...
You're preaching to the choir, bro.
Annihilated.
Yeah, take it to just as they turn to the side. That's it, just there. And watch Jake. He looks at him, keeps looking, and then Joshua looks back. Yeah.
Jeez.
Great.
I just, it's incredible, really.
Mickey Mace breaks down the massive gap in the odds. Anthony Joshua is an overwhelming favorite because his size, power, and experience are on an entirely different level. Betting on Jake Paul is like gambling against reality. Anyone watching can see Joshua is fully in control, and no amount of bold predictions can change the fact that Jake Paul is stepping in against a true heavyweight with skills far beyond anything he has ever faced.
Jake Paul is plus 600 against Anthony Joshua. If you bet $100 on Jake Paul, you get $600 back.
Anthony's a big favorite.
10-1 odds. Originally, Jake Paul was supposed to fight Gervonta. Anthony Joshua was a lot bigger.
I wish Jake his best. I hope Jake wins.
Do you think he'll win?
I think he'll win.
Are you going to bet that Jake wins?
Yeah, I'm going to bet Jake wins.
How much do you think he'll put down?
Probably put $1,000 on Jake.
So he'll get 6,000 at best. So this is just...
KSI recognizes how big this fight is, but he makes one thing absolutely clear. Anthony Joshua controls everything. Giving Jake Paul credit is fine, but everyone can see who the real danger is. Joshua's power, experience, and calm confidence make Jake Paul look small and unprepared. Joshua's presence alone is intimidating, even before the first bell. KSI points out what most already know. Jake Paul is brave for stepping into the ring, but he's facing a man who has crushed giants, and he's about to feel every ounce of Joshua's strength.
Jake is fine, AJ. I'm going to give him props. Fair play, Jake. That is a big fight. AJ should knock him out.
AJ by brutal Bonnie Blue scene. AJ by...
What do you reckon the purses are?
I think
Eddie Hearn's words capture the brutal truth Jake Paul is walking into. Anthony Joshua is operating on a completely different level, and believing otherwise is pure fantasy. When Hearn says, "smash to pieces," it's not an exaggeration. It's a realistic prediction. Joshua's technique, timing, and power make him a destructive force. Jake Paul can posture, bluff, and act confident, but inside the ring he's outclassed physically and mentally. Hearn's blunt assessment matches what every expert sees. This fight will be a heavyweight masterclass, and Jake Paul is about to learn the difference between hype and genuine world-class skill.
I think he's got absolutely no chance. I think he's going to get smashed to pieces.
2K McKenzie's insight is spot on. Anthony Joshua never underestimates an opponent, but this matchup is one-sided in every possible way. Jake Paul may hope for an easy break, but Joshua is a lifelong athlete with years of elite training and real power behind every punch. Calling Jake Paul a wannabe isn't harsh. It's simply the truth. He has never faced anyone like Joshua, and that massive gap in skill and mentality will show immediately. Every jab, hook, and movement from Joshua will remind everyone why he's a former champion, and why Jake Paul is nowhere near ready for this level.
I don't think Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul lightly any way, shape or form, and it'd be so easy to hit. You're talking about a trained athlete.
Benavidez Sr. warns that Jake Paul is walking into serious danger, and he's right. Anthony Joshua is a master at distance, timing, and power, and anyone stepping into the ring with him must respect that expertise. Upset talk might excite fans, but the reality is clear. Joshua controls every second in the ring. Jake Paul may hope for luck or a miracle, but facing a man who has defeated champions and endured every test is another story altogether. This isn't just a fight. It's a harsh lesson in what true heavyweight skill looks like.
You know, don't count him out. You know, I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, you know, we could have a big upset, you know, but...
John Fury's blunt analysis highlights Joshua's complete dominance. This fight is so one-sided that even exaggeration can't hide the truth. Jake Paul stepping in against Anthony Joshua is like walking straight into a storm without protection. Joshua's power, skill, and experience guarantee total control. And if the fight somehow goes another direction, people will instantly question it. Fans already know the reality. Joshua is in a different league entirely, and Jake Paul is dangerously outmatched.
Work. Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick. So if it goes any other way...
Anthony Joshua makes it clear that Jake Paul is entering a world he's never experienced before. Every punch Joshua throws will be precise, calculated, and punishing. He plans to overwhelm Jake Paul with techniques he has never faced. This isn't just a fight. It's a lesson in elite boxing. Jake Paul might believe he can handle the pressure, but Joshua's timing, power, and skill will put him in a completely different classroom. Fans are about to witness a heavyweight masterclass. Jake Paul's confidence will collide hard with reality, and Joshua will leave no doubt about who commands the ring and who is outmatched.
Is this the biggest upset in boxing history?
For sure. Neck and neck with Tyson and Buster. Right up there. Biggest stage. This will probably be the second.
Spencer Oliver exposes the fantasy Jake Paul might be living in. Thinking one punch can beat a former heavyweight champion is laughable. Joshua's experience, precision, and knockout power mean no one can simply walk into range without facing brutal consequences. This fight isn't about hope or hype. It's about skill and dominance. Jake Paul may feel confident, but Anthony Joshua has proven he can dismantle anyone and make them regret every step toward him. This will be a reality check that no YouTube storyline can change.